So, VPN strategies. This has sort of been the bane of many people's lives for a long, long time, hasn't it?
No question, no question. And just as a brief overview or introduction to the VPN strategy setting, with always on VPN, there are multiple supported VPN protocols. Practically speaking, there are really only two. Those are the IKE-v2 Internet Key Exchange version 2, which is an IPsec-based transport, runs on UDP. And then there's also the Secure Socket Tunneling Protocol, or SSTP, which is a TLS-based protocol. HTTP-based protocol uses TLS for security. The advantage to using IKE-v2 is that it performs well. It has the ability to be very secure out of the box. It is not from Microsoft. It is very secure. You have those options to change those settings in DPC or in the UI or in CSP as well. Bottom line is IKE-v2 is a pretty robust protocol, but it suffers from a number of operational challenges and limitations. It's not very firewall friendly. UDP always struggles with NAT, and there are some unique challenges to IKE-v2 when it comes to NAT, and so there are a lot of stability and operational issues, limitations, and challenges with IKE-v2. SSTP is a fantastic protocol. It can be very secure with minimal configuration, additional configuration. The advantage to something like SSTP is it is very firewall friendly. It runs over the standard HTTPS port, port 443, so it's ubiquitously available. It always works. It always functions. So we have customers who say, well, I would prefer to use the highest level of security and then fall back to SSTP if that's not operational. And Microsoft allows you to do that. The protocol setting is technically called automatic. The problem that we run into is that when you select automatic, out of the box, it will try SSTP first. And so, well, there aren't any real scenarios in which, SSTP wouldn't work. So probably just going to use SSTP all the time. If you set it to IKE-v2, it will use IKE-v2 all the time. So there's some real problems there. Also, Microsoft overwrites the settings. The VPN strategy setting is actually contained or included in a configuration file. It's called rasphone.pbk, and you may have some experience with that. There's basically just a setting in there that you can set to change that strategy, and you can prefer IKE-v2, or you can prefer SSTP, or you could do IKE-v2 only, or SSTP only. And so that setting, unfortunately, is not persistent. Windows can overwrite that. And so there's been a lot of problems with that. So the way to fix that was edit that INI file or that PBK file. Easy enough to do technically, but at scale, some real challenges. So we've written PowerShell scripts. I have detection and remediation scripts for Intune and proactive remediation. But all of those things must be done post-deployment, and you at times will suffer operational challenges until those remediations run, and of course, the connection restarts. So it can be done, but as you can see, that it is a bit challenging to get done. It is much easier in DPC, and Leo, if you will demonstrate that for us, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So we'll just jump onto here. So here's the settings on a domain controller in group policy. You can obviously set these in either Intune or locally on a device for things like testing and development, that kind of thing. And then under the user tunnel settings advanced, you'll see this VPN protocol option. And then rather than having to understand the differences between each of the numbers that Microsoft have given things behind the scenes,
good point, yeah.
What we've done here is just given you the actual English of what that would look like. So in this case, we've actually got it set to IKE-v2 first, SSTP fallback. Although you do then have the options to limit things to either SSTP only, IKE-v2 only, or SSTP first with IKE-v2 fallback. So we can kind of do all of the major ways and options.
Good point. Yes, veteran and always on VPN administrators might be familiar with the numbers. You and I probably certainly are, right? We set it to 14 or 7 or 5 or 6 but yeah, those numbers are not going to make any sense to you, to most people. So absolutely having those in plain English was fantastic.
No. And also those the version that is actually online is not actually the most up-to-date version. To get the actual latest list of those numbers, you actually have to dig into the Windows SDK, which is not somewhere that many people want to go.
Good point. And that's right, because the Microsoft documentation for that is woefully outdated, right? The public documentation for it.
I think it's mostly from the Windows Server 2003 resource kit.
I want to say SSTP wasn't even in there, or I don't even remember. But yeah, it is. My information that I got was from a Microsoft escalation engineer many years ago, and I'm like, hey, where'd all these numbers come from, right? So yeah.